Welcome back to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. I'm CarrieVee, your biggest fan. And Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee is all things communication, leadership, confidence, clarity. It is all things life. And on our last episode, we talked about things I learned as I entered into my seventh decade on this earth. I have lived here 6 decades. I can hardly believe that. It feels like time just went so fast, and people say it all the time, and it is just incredibly true. It blows my mind when I think I'm 60. How did I turn 60 this year? But I did. And so we talked about things that I learned. Well, I promised you an episode on things that I am leaving behind, like the top things I've learned and these top things I'm leaving behind. So I've narrowed it down to three things that I will no longer do now that I'm 60. And here's the thing. I don't want you to stop. I don't want you to stop. I want you to stop doing these things now. I want you to stop doing these things now, no matter what age you are, younger, older than me. Stop letting other people determine how you will live your life. So these are the top three things, the top three lessons. And whether you are 30 or whether you're 80, we can all put these into practice. I wish I had started putting these into practice like always. I wish I'd always been doing these things. I can't turn back the clock, but I can put them into practice now and move forward. Number one, so I'm going to give you my top three. Number one, I'm done explaining myself. I'm done explaining. I'm no longer going to over explain my choices, my boundaries, or my pace. Because now that I'm 60, I have learned that people who respect me don't need explanations, and people who demand those explanations wouldn't accept them anyhow. If you are spending all your time over explaining yourself to people, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't care. They don't care what your boundaries are. They don't care what your pace is. They don't respect you anyway. So stop wasting your energy over explaining yourself to people who aren't going to do anything about it anyway. Silence is clarity. No is complete. And you don't need to leave footnotes on your life. The people who are going to respect your boundaries are already doing it. The people that you long to have respect your boundaries that aren't doing it aren't going to do it anymore if you over explain. It's like when you are disciplining a child and you say it a zillion times, the more you say it, the less they listen. When you show up with authority, they listen the first time. It's the same with the way that people respect you. So stop over explaining yourself. Be done with it now. Just be done with it. Number two thing that I'm going to stop doing now that I'm 60 is staying palatable. In other words, making myself small to make other people feel more comfortable. Shrinking my truth because people around me were uncomfortable with my boldness. For so long, I softened my voice. I would wrap up my wisdom in apologies. I'm not doing that anymore. I edited myself so I wouldn't be too much. How many times have you been told in your life that you are too much? I'm done. I'm done with people telling me I'm too much. I'm not going to soften my boundaries. I'm not going to soften my convictions. I am who I am, and I will speak that out loud. I I don't need people to tell me when I'm allowed to move or pivot. I I don't need people to tell me how I'm supposed to show up in this world. I don't need to be liked by everyone. It's okay if not everyone likes me. It really is okay. I wish I was okay with not everyone liking me when I was 20 years old. I spent way too much time trying to get the wrong people to like me. I also don't need to outsource my authority. This is number three. I don't need people telling me what I'm allowed to do. I literally would not get together a box of things to ship to someone, like my things, until I cleared it through somebody else. Do you think it's okay if I send these things? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not asking for permission on things that I don't need to ask for permission for. I'm not saying that I don't respect authority. I absolutely do. But my own authority, I don't need to outsource that. I don't need to hand my power to people who haven't lived my life. I am all for collaborating, and I do respect authority. I do respect the people in authority over me. But I have lost respect for people who lorded themselves over me because they wanted to control me. I have no time for that in my life anymore. They say that as women get older, we get more bold. And I don't know if menopause has anything to do with that. I think it does. Biologically, there's a lot that goes on in our mind, in our bodies. But in our minds, there's something that happens when a woman hits that stage in her life, because it is a palpable reminder that we're in our last season. We have these seasons in our life, and when we hit menopause, we're in that last phase. Postmenopausal, we're in our last phase. And it's a wake-up call that we just don't have the time or energy to care about what everybody else says about us. If you want to think I am too much, think I'm too much. If you want to think I'm too outspoken, think I'm too outspoken. It's okay with me. These are main things I have learned being on this earth for so long. I'm done explaining myself. I'm done making myself smaller so that you don't feel bad about yourself. You're allowed to grow right alongside me. But if you don't want to grow alongside me, then I will outgrow you, because I want to keep growing. I have limited time left. Limited. None of us knows how long we have left, but the older we get, we certainly do have less. I'm not going to outsource my authority. I'm going to make decisions. I'll talk to you about my decisions, but you don't get to make my decision. We are put on this earth for a short time. I am very faith-based, and I am thankful that I am faith-based, because I don't know what I would do without faith to hold on to. And I don't believe that we are to walk through life without being the best version of ourselves. And we cannot be the best version of ourselves if we are constantly over-explaining ourselves to people who don't want to understand us in the first place, or making ourselves small, play small, because the people around us don't want to play big, don't want to grow. None of those things need to be true in our lives. It's time to stand up. If you were writing, and I hope you will, I hope you take all of these journal prompts very, very seriously. But the journal prompt that I'm leaving you with today is, what am I being invited to release so I can walk more fully in the season of life that I'm in? Wherever you are, maybe you're younger than me, maybe you're older than me. What are you invited to release? What is asking you to release it so that you can walk in full peace, in full trust, in full faith, in full power? What do you need to let go of? Is it a need to people please? Is it a need to over-explain? Is it a need to stop dreaming? Or is it a need to start dreaming? Is it a need to, is it a need that you have always felt to give in to what other people want for your life? What are you being called to release right now? It's different for everyone, but I would love for you to take some time and write on that. I have spent the month of January in deep reflection, knowing that I want to step closer to my faith, to be more immersed in my faith, to be getting up every day and having excitement. In the last decade, within the last few years, really, I have had my cancer diagnosis. I've had cancer surgeries, had major health issues that I am now coming out of. I found out that I have this genetic disorder, Lynch syndrome, and I am reminded often with reading things about friends that I have met at Lynch syndrome symposiums that I have attended, with reading things online with different groups I'm in, where someone has had a clean scan with Lynch syndrome. Many of us have, most of us, if not all of us, have yearly colonoscopies, endoscopies, cancer checks, because we are so, number one, predisposed to cancers, and number two, our bodies can't fight it. And number three, it makes the cancer grow at like warp speed. And I read and I hear of people that I have met that had a clean scan and a year later go in and cancer is full blown in their body. And it's a reminder, number one, to embrace my life, and number two, that is the reality of Lynch syndrome. And it's always in my face now. And it's sometimes, some days, it wants to take me down. So I am being called to release that fear and release that that overwhelm in my life, because it's totally out of my control. I can live my best life and make the best choices. That is what I can do. That's the part I'm in control of. What my genetic disorder does with it is totally out of my control. And so I am releasing, allowing that to be my controlling factor in my life. What are you being called to release? There are things that you need to walk away from. There are things that you need to stop doing in order to live your life more fully. So stop giving into those things and start working on becoming the best version of yourself. We will get back to talking about leadership and communication, but this topic has been heavy on my heart to bring in and share. We have to be the best version of ourselves. Look around the world around you. No matter what your beliefs are politically or faith or religious, you can't look around the world and not see the tension and the bitterness and the anger. We can be better than the bitterness and the anger and the dissension. We can be the best version of ourselves. And when we strive individually to be the best version of ourselves, truly the best version, responding in love, responding in faith, responding in caring, responding with compassion, when we do that, that starts to ripple out to the people around us, and so on and so on and so on. But it starts in here and it goes to the people closest to you. And that's how it starts to spread. So what are you being called to release? And where are you growing? I love you. I can't wait to talk to you again. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you share out this episode. Make sure you keep coming back. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.